Do something intelligent!
G'day viewers, it's Fless here. I brought the D-Max and the Tinny up to Hervey Bay to do a bit of exploring around Woody Island. Of course I'll do a bit of fishing on the northeastern side, have a bit of a troll just to see what I can catch. So Hervey Bay is about 250 kilometres north of Brisbane, and Woody Island sits at the top of Sandy Straits, right in the middle of Hervey Bay. It's an uninhabited island with one little camping area. It's about 10 kilometres long and it's about 2 kilometres wide. And I'm going to go for a walk around the island today, just to have a bit of a look around and see what I can find. I first came here about 40 years ago, and I'll see what's actually changed. Probably hasn't changed much at all. I spent the night in the tinny here. It was pretty cold and miserable. It's in the middle of winter and it was very, very uncomfortable. That's Fraser Island over there, and Kingfisher Bay is not too far away either. So this is what the locals call Big Woody Island, and you'll see that Little Woody Island is just over there, just across the straits a bit. Anyway, it's a nice day, but it's a fair bit of westerly blowing, so we'll see what the day holds. There's only one spot that you can actually land a boat on, and that's a place called Gary's Anchorage, which is where I am at the moment. It's a bit of a sandy beach here, but even there at low tide there's lots of rocks out in the water as well. You can get here by kayak, and I did bring my kayak over here once many years ago, so kayak's probably the best option to get access to Woody Island. It's not too far from the marina at Hervey Bay. It's probably about 4 or 5 kilometres to paddle across. Yeah, right around the island you'll find rocks that are in the same shape as this. They're ridged right along the length of the island. Not sure what caused that. It's possibly that these rocks were at the bottom of a glacier once, and the glacial movement has carved out long lines in the rocks. There's an escarpment right along the northern section of the island, which is pretty steep and hard to climb up. On the other side of the island it's quite flat and quite easy to get up. Okay, this is where the little shelter was built, which stored the kerosene for the kerosene fed lighthouse, which is up on the top of the middle bluff, not far from here. This has obviously been renewed. A lot of the original 1866 timber is still here from when the shed was built to store the kerosene used to power the light. The shed's been restored by National Parks, and they've installed some historical interpretive signage. The Butchulla people were the traditional owners of Woody Island, and they called it Tuluwa. The Middle Bluff Lighthouse was the very first one built in Queensland, which was soon followed by one not far away on North Bluff. Both lighthouses were built identically. Matthew Flinders was the first white person to visit the island during his voyage around Australia in 1799. The North Bluff Lighthouse was decommissioned in 1959. In 1985, the Middle Bluff Lighthouse was converted to solar power, but it was no longer needed 2 years later. Okay, let's make our way up to the Middle Bluff Lighthouse. And here it is. It was built in 1866, which is the same year that my great-great-grandparents had arrived in Australia from Germany. Nice view of Fraser Island from here. Okay, I've reached the northern tip of the island. There's the city of Hervey Bay over there, the boat harbour. That's Round Island. So this is as far north as you can walk on Woody Island. Now we'll start heading south. We're walking on the southern side of the island. It's a little bit easier than the northern side, but not a great deal easier. Here's the remains of the old telegraph line. It used to run between Woody Island and the lighthouse keepers' houses over to Round Island and to Hervey Bay. Eventually the telegraph line went all the way up to Sandy Cape. What is that? Must be part of a whale. It's part of a dugong. It's an awful big one. Okay, 40 years ago I used to come to Hervey Bay and fishing with an old bloke. He used to tell me about an Aboriginal fish trap. It used to be just along here along the beach on the southwestern side of the island. And I actually found it one day. So there's rocks to go out from the shore. They're in a semicircle, and as the tide came in, the water would cover the rocks and the fish would come in with it, and then they'd close off the opening to the semicircle, and then as the tide went out they'd spear the fish in the shallows. There's a little known fact about Woody Island. Okay, I'm running out of time now to get right around the island, so I've got to take a little bit of a shortcut across the southern end. It's a couple hundred metres through the bush, so I'll see how I go. I don't think anyone's been across here. It's getting impenetrable, but anyway, I'll keep going and hopefully I can get to the beach on the other side. Well, I'd be stuffed without Google Maps, I can tell you, because this is really dense. So I've got to get to the other side of the island. I'm about halfway across it. So I can tell you nobody's ever been across here. Yeah, lantana, that's what I was afraid of. Certainly going to have trouble getting through this. So I've made it to the other side. Got to get through all this long grass to get to the water. All the boats still here, thank goodness. It's high tide, so I better push it out in the water a bit. Okay, that's it for me for Woody Island. So it's a pretty tough walk all the way around there. But anyway, it's pretty interesting as well. Anyway, if you'd like to see more videos of my adventures, click up here to have a look at me camping on top of Mount Kosciuszko, or over there for climbing Mount Beerwah on the Sunshine Coast. Anyway, that's it from me from Woody Island. Bye.